Valhalla. You may be wondering to yourself, there's no way that they could do the same thing as Odyssey. Like, for instance, make the person fall off of a cliff and then end up getting some trauma and then decide to just battle everyone. No. Of course they wouldn't do the same as Odyssey. Of course. Oh wait, they did exactly that. Now let's be honest, the game Valhalla, they literally had so many issues with it, like I don't even know where to begin. Like there was bugs upon bugs. They said to you, this is the requirements for the game. They were like, oh, so recommended 570. Oh, it must be fine to play then. So I go and try and play it. I have a 580. It says 570, so I assume I can play it on medium. Next thing you know, I end up getting graphics like we are playing Tomb Raider. Yeah, they make you think that the graphics are literally that astounding. And literally, next thing you know, you go and change the graphics to go and make it more applicable to it. So you put it all on low, and then next thing you know, it pretty much looks like Tomb Raider from 1996, the original classic. Yes, the cult classic. I'm talking about graphics that are so bad. But then they seem to think, oh yes, this is PC by the way. They think that, oh yes, so of course you know how to fix the issues that you would have with the game. But yeah, right, I'm going to know the issues. Like, literally games these days have made me figure out how to fix these issues. Because it's like, oh, you need to turn VSync off. You need to turn off the motion blur. You need to turn off this, that. And it's just like, how am I supposed to know this beforehand? Odyssey had this in where they made the story extremely long. Of course they couldn't do that with Valhalla, right? Of course they wouldn't. They would never. Of course. Oh wait, 65 hours into Valhalla, we're having the same issue. Why have I still not completed the game? Why is there an unbelievable amount of side quests, you wonder? Oh, so you expect me to just go around doing the same thing over and over again? It's literally family orientated again, where the background goes on the same keys factors as Odyssey. Now Valhalla, I could talk about many bugs in the game. Where do we begin? I will show you some clips. We have an issue right here where you would go back and forth into the wall and it would just not register that you have actually moved forward. I mean, it's great fun. This one is a classic. The game would just freeze on you. Just completely crash. I mean, they must be able to fix this immediately, right? Hold on, I played this 2 months ago. Why have I still got the same issue? I wonder. Oh my god. Wait, there's still crashes on the game? Oh, really? When was this clip? This clip is from 5 months ago where the game would just freeze and just crash. Now, I played the game 2 months ago and we had the same issue.
It's the first time I try to use, like, stealth in the game and then it fucking crashes, like, after I fucking do it.
And what would be annoying is that how you had to lower the graphics in order to make the game playable. Because if you have the graphics too high, stuff like this happens.
What was that?
And sometimes your player would like flicker or it would like glitch from one place to one place. The worst is the audio.
It was scripted, I think.
Are you seeing what I'm saying?
See, the best thing is that how this isn't even the main issue, because like when you would raid a village, see, like this isn't the worst issue where it would just keep banning the door. The worst issue is the fact that how you would get into this state where you would just constantly just trying to open this massive chest on these raids, and then you would just be like, oh, why can't I seem to open it? And then you would have to go and search for the player who can help you open this loot box. This is AAA game, by the way. These loot boxes were the most, like the chests were just the most annoying process ever, because like how you had to go and find someone to go and open it, like, and then these people would just turn up from nowhere. It was absolutely astounding, like this would happen. It was just so funny. It's like, why do I have to deal with this situation? Like, you shouldn't have to deal with this. Now, the graphics, I mean, it speaks for itself, let's be honest. They go and say, oh yeah, it's playable on all consoles, on all standards, but then literally how you go and play it on PC, and then you get this constantly, where the game just flickers between good graphics and bad graphics. I had a lot of issues myself, but it was mainly with Valhalla, because for some apparent reason, in the bosses area, the game would just suddenly just fuck itself over. Like the animal would glitch, for instance. It would suddenly teleport. Sometimes it would be backwards. It would be turned inside out. It would be broken completely. I would teleport. The creature would teleport. It's like how there was so many issues. It was unbelievable. Like, for instance, this is what happens when you put the graphics up, because it was annoying you and it would constantly flicker between this. You had to lower everything in order to get it to load properly, but it would still have these reoccurring issues every single time. The game, the story is amazing, but they literally made it so that the idea that you had to travel from point A to point B just extremely long. The skill tree system was appalling. They basically made it you would gain 0 points from any progress, and they literally give you a boss area right at the beginning, and it's just literally how it's level 140 boss area, but then you're just like, oh no, of course it wouldn't make me level up 140 times in order to fight this boss. Oh wait, yes it does. If you want to fight in certain areas, you have to get to level 200 and something power level. It's ridiculous that they seem to think that this is a good idea. Like, excuse me? Yeah, let's make a mechanic like that to just keep on going back and forth, where I just have to keep on doing these same things, and it just gets so repetitive. You seem to think the game is over, but literally how you keep doing these raids constantly, and you're just like, oh well, I mean, we got to be near the end, right? And then you realize, oh no, I am not near the end. We are still doing the same mission back and forth again and again, trying to get rid of these bosses, or any sense, just trying to get the money, or just trying to do anything. And then literally how you're like, oh well, the game can't be extremely open. They might have made the map smaller or whatnot, but then how no, they made it so then the quests, they made it so then even the quest, in fact, would have the idea that you just don't know where you're going, you don't know where anything is. It literally leaves you very open, and you're so confused, and you get distracted by the side missions, and then you have to do the same thing over and over again, and it's just like, why are we still here? Why are we still at the same page? Why is nothing progressing in this game? We are at the same thing as the beginning. And then you go on these raids, you get people to join up to your system, and it's just repetitive over and over again. There's no sense of change, and they go to think like, oh yeah, all we wanted was a game that wasn't repetitive, wasn't too big, and wasn't too long. How long did the original Assassin's Creed games take? So we have Assassin's Creed Valhalla, 55 for the main story. Now you have 42 hours for Odyssey. Origins, 30 hours. Now, you see, we have cult classics where it was Revelations, 12 hours. Assassin's Creed 3, 16 hours. The original Assassin's Creed is 15 hours. Brotherhood is 15 hours. Unity is 16 hours. It's like they suddenly seem to think that, oh yeah, let's add more to the game. It's what the players want. We told you the game was too long, and you literally went from a 42-hour game to a 55-hour game. In fact, you even made the extras even longer. I don't know how you managed to do that. If you have played the game, the side quests in it, they make no sense. I mean, I know they done it on purpose, but they make no sense. You know, there's an unbelievable amount of bugs. The game is a lot longer than they intended. The only real good thing about the game is the story. The story is good, even though you get distracted. And literally how they seem to have forgotten the impact that the outside human world has on the game. Because literally how in the game, when you go to the actual current game time, the current world time, it makes no sense. It's like, oh yeah, am I supposed to know what was going on? In the last two games, you've pretty much not shown us much, and we were confused the entire time. They seem to think that this type of standard of games is AAA, is like 9 out of 10 on IGN. Like, excuse me, bro, you need to sort your games out. It's like how you can go and say to me, oh yeah, when they released, like, there's other games that have great stories that are like buggy. Yeah, we got Cyberpunk. I mean, it was an absolute train wreck of a release, but the story's good. Same with Skyrim. I've never seen so many bugs in a game, but it's a good story. And, well, that maybe not Fallout. Now, you may be like, oh, the game is about Vikings and it's assassins. How does that work? It doesn't. It just doesn't. Vikings pillage, attack, kill everything, and are not silent about any of the attacks. I mean, in certain history points, yes, they do technically sneak up and kill them, but then they still get to the same impact of just burning everything and just stealing everything. But with an assassin, they are hidden and use the blade, and then literally how for some reason you get given this blade that seems to be on the opposite side. It's just not right. They seem to think that, oh yeah, you add a hood, now you're an assassin. No. I mean, you've made this whole lore about it, and then now you just change it all. I mean, you changed it all in Origins, and we just ignored it. We mainly just were annoyed about the CPU overwhelming damage like that it does to your PC. And then you do the same thing with Odyssey. Well, Odyssey is a little bit better, which is surprising because the game is like 2 years later, and then we're literally back to the same page as Origins, where the game is just trash to play on the PC. And you seem to think, oh yeah, great game, by the way, great game. It's not a great game. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Why do you keep doing this? You keep doing this to every single game. They done the idea of like, oh yeah, we'll give you axes, we'll give you 2 swords, you have a shield, you'll go around, you'll like pillage village, yada yada. But then how you get the idea of sneaking around, but then as soon as you try and sneak around, the game lags out, the game crashes. It's almost like, no, this isn't right, but it's not even that. It's just because of the game itself is an issue. But I mean, overall, I enjoyed the game. There was just loads of issues That is frustrating. Why go and say that your specs are this good or they're this low, but then it doesn't even run at those specs? I mean, you literally have to put it below those specs. You have to literally put everything on low and literally how it looks like a 2D classic game. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. If we compare it to Demon Souls, for instance, Demon Souls is a game that looks insane in graphics and it's like amazing that it's remastered, whereas Valhalla game looks like a remastered game, but it's not. The game just doesn't look as great as other current games that have came out, and it's annoying. Please, Ubisoft, sort your game out, or any of your games. Like, every game just seems to have more and more issues I don't understand, and you seem to think it's fine to release it. Please, I used to love your games. They're just slowly just becoming bad and way too long. And unnecessarily long, and nothing makes any sense. These stories are half built because you pretty much do the same thing over and over again. You just raid, and then literally just kill everybody, and then somebody betrays them, you do the same thing, and you go on another scrimmage. Like, it's just repetitive.